Listen, Matt Hancock, Matt Goering, shove your track and trace where the sun don't shine. Have you heard the adverts on the radio? To return to a more normal life, you must adhere to track and trace. Must. Must. No fucking democracy here, is there? Um, this is brilliant. This is very comical. Um, this a troller popped up on Twitter today. Sean Kenny, his name, and at SP Kenny 67. So I've put about George Floyd. And there's other Jerry Adams and people coming to this, well, apparently, if you're a murderer or a terrorist, though it seems you can act with impunity, and suddenly the whole world is all ears and jumping to defence. That's what I put. And someone else has asked me something, and I've said something about Floyd's long criminal record. So this guy comes on. How did he act with impunity if he had a long criminal record? Now I looked it up just to make sure I wasn't wrong, right? So that basically means acting without accountability, or being punished for it in any way, but like MPs. So I said it seems they can act with impunity, which you'll see the difference there. How does it seem like he could act with impunity if he had a long criminal record? Because it seems that way. Because they just keep coming back regardless, don't they? Okay, they've been to prison or whatever, but they don't talk about that, do they? They just crack on. So then he's obviously been trolling me, looking me up on the internet. It's a because I said so theory, as to not, because I said he wasn't very bright, as to not being bright. I'm bright enough to not to get myself a criminal record for not paying council tax. And I said, well, I've never seen any criminal record. So he's dragged my picture up and everything there now, so he's obviously spending a lot of time doing this. So I said, what did I say to him? I said two things. The second thing I said was, why would you give money to an organisation which stole 25 years' worth of taxpayers' cash? And then I've said, no, because the paper made it look like I went to jail, because of course they're all fucking pally with the council and all that. They're all best chums, all Freemasons together. So I've just said, no, I was given time, and at that time I did pay it, because this is a long time ago. I wasn't I wasn't as savvy then as I am now. I don't pay now, and there's all they can do about it, because they don't want to lose 3 chief constables in 5 years. Nor do they want to lose any more bailiffs or council staff, for that matter. And if you know my channel, you'll know that quite a few people have lost their jobs after they decided to try and arrest me and whatever else. So he bangs on about that, and then actually says the sentence was suspended for a month to allow time for him to pay. And I've just said, well, I just said that. I did pay. You're sentenced, therefore you must be found guilty, therefore you have a criminal record. No, well, the trouble is, it's a council employee. This guy's not quite up on the thing that the council hires the court and pretends to be court employees, which is a major criminal offence. But we're getting there. A council employee can't sentence you to prison, it must be a magistrate. Listen to what I'm saying. They hire the courtroom and they are protected by the police. Council tax is a civil debt and not enforceable. And if you do not form a contract with them by signing their demand, you agree that they can take money off you. And then he's done all the splurge about Section R47, whatever it is, allows the authority to apply for a magistrate's court, but they don't. The council print the fucking warrants themselves and say they've applied to the court. So I'm trying to find the other one, because I said something about Cressida Dick. He may have taken that off, actually. Oh, no, he hasn't. So the threads are splitting off here. I was struggling to keep up. Again, how did Jerry Adams act with impunity if he was twice imprisoned? And are you suggesting that people with a criminal record should not be allowed to be rehabilitated? To which I've just put, I served in Belfast. And there's been no answer to that one. And then I'd said something about Cressida Dick, because as we all know from this channel, I will always say that she is a murdering bitch, basically. He's actually dragged up a story from when the case happened, which was about 2008 or something. But there's one bit. In a highly unusual move, the judge, Mr. Justice Henriques, allowed the jury to insert a rider or caveat into the verdict stating that Cressida Dick, the commander in charge of the operation on the day, should not be held personally culpable for the events. Yeah, and I'll bet the judge knew Cressida's daddy as well. So he said my tweet is libelous about Cressida Dick. I said, well, she can sue me then, can't she? Although, in the words of Judge Enright of Peterborough Crown Court, I'm not allowed to submit evidence to any court or speak to any court staff or attend a court. So I think you're on a bit of a loser there, Cressida love. Apart from which I own fuck all. So any money you were awarded, you just wouldn't get. Sorry, but your police and council people had fucking thousands and thousands of pounds off me over the years in completely unlawful fucking court cases, and all the fucking work I've missed and all the fucking bad health I've had because I've been trying to uncover 25 years worth of theft from the public purse. Orchestrated by John Major, probably one of your mates. Ta-da!